You're officially in the incinerator. Welcome to Incense and Common Sense, the live streams that we do here on Alert Zone TV. I would love for you guys and girls to become active citizens. Y'all already know how to do that. Shout out to everybody because this is a worldwide movement. Definitely hope everybody's having a good day. Got my cup from Guanajuato. I'm a grand grape in here. Definitely shout out to Mexico, our second most watched country viewed. Shout out to everybody because it's a worldwide movement. So I'm gonna give everybody a couple minutes to get in here. Hit the like button as you come in. Also, make sure you share all that good stuff. If you are a business owner, if you have products you'd like to have reviewed on the channel, you'd like to advertise on the channel, hit me up in the my email. You can email me. Go to the community tab. I posted a picture with the email link in there. And I'll figure out how to put it in the description. If you want to have anything reviewed on the channel, definitely this worldwide movement. Give everybody a couple minutes to get in here like we always do. Yeah, y'all hold on a minute. Sorry about that, everybody. So I'll give everybody a couple minutes to get in here. Hoping y'all having a good day wherever you are. I'm gonna try not to keep y'all too long, but we're gonna have a discussion. I was gonna pre-record this, then I just decided I was gonna live stream this because it's something we need to have a serious talk about. Justified force. So, but anyhow, yeah. Shout out to everybody, as usual. The gun tubers. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody that supports GunTube, whether it's this channel or another. All right, what's going on, Ashley Vegas? Definitely, I'll give everybody a couple minutes to get in here. Like I said, shout out to GunTube. Shout out to everybody that supports GunTube, whether it's this channel or not. I'm even go so far as to say shout out to a lot of the product lines out here. The firearm manufacturers, the ammunition, everything. Oh, nothing much I can call it, Ronnie. Gotta have a talk. Gotta have a talk about something. Make sure you hit the like button as you come in here. Definitely wanted to talk about this because this is gonna piggyback off a bunch of stuff. We can have this discussion. Like I said, I'm gonna try not to hold you guys and girls up. Make sure you hit the likes as you come in. Like I said, the likes is not so much that you agree with everything, but it's to help us on the algorithm. I'm somewhat still under, I guess, a shadow ban and what have you. With YouTube, you gotta keep it going. Thank you, Ronnie, for tuning in. By the way, shout out to all the truckers out here on the road. Be careful, be safe out here. There's some stories I've heard, some things about as far as protecting yourselves. I'm gonna do more research before I open my mouth because I don't want to put a false narrative out there. I try and pride myself on things that is social, racial, or political. If I have to speak on it concerning the Second Amendment, I try and do my research and have an idea of what I'm talking about. I don't like to throw bad information out. And that's going to coincide with the topic that we're going to have tonight. Like I said, I'm going to try and do something real short. All right, what's going on? What's that? Ardino? All right, we at the 5-minute mark. Let's get it in. So I wanted to talk about justified force. up to deadly force. And I'm gonna start off with this, and it's gonna lead in. But follow me, follow me, follow me. So you guys and girls know I talked about the Cincinnati beatdown the other day and what have you, and more about that particular subject, that particular incident has happened, and it's gonna tie into this whole thing about justified force. But I thought that it would be smart for me to start with this incident and then show everybody. So, for those of you who are not aware, there was an incident that happened, I believe it was last weekend at a music festival in Cincinnati, where a brawl broke out, 5 or 6 people got arrested. There was a woman that was beat pretty bad. Hello, what's going on, Manuel? Yeah, Emmanuel. But what really, really inspired, hold on, everybody. What really inspired this was, I had told you guys about this particular incident, and so it comes out. The instigator of this whole thing, the guy that spit, used the racial slurs, and threw the first punch, is Russian. Thank you, I appreciate you, Manuel. Welcome to the Alert Zone, you're a citizen. Apparently, after using racial slurs, he slapped this guy, and you guys and girls seen the brawl. The original sentiment was put out there before the full video was put out, that this guy was minding his business and that these black folks just attacked him. And then the full video came out. And so the narrative shift from the mainstream media to this guy was minding his business to, well, so what that he slapped you? You didn't have to use so much of force. Let me say this before we go forward. This is a worldwide movement, but as Americans, this is something we need to have a discussion about. The instigators of this was from Russia. They flew from Russia all the way to America and started a racial fucking incident, and they've already left the country. Now look at the turmoil the country is in right now. Look at the divide, as though we don't have enough problems in America without somebody importing a problem. That female is on video throwing punches, and she got cold cocked. And then she went straight back to Russia. Now look at the divide that we have. Let me explain something to everybody that comes to this country. I don't know what it is. Yeah, you're right about that. Sidewalk talk. I don't know what it is. I don't know about self-protection in foreign countries, but here in America, we have the right not only to defend ourselves as humans, the human right, but the legal right to use up to deadly force to eliminate a threat. So the discussion went from, well, they just attacked a bunch of innocent people to, well, first he called him a slur, to, okay, well, so he slapped him, he didn't have to beat him like that. That's what we're talking about here, justified force. Let me explain something. In America, you have the right up to deadly force to neutralize a threat. We don't have a duty to retreat here in America. We don't have that. When you can lawfully be somewhere, what does that mean? A person cannot punch you in the face and then expect the only thing you're gonna do is punch them back one time and that be that. No. Fast forward that, transform that to home defense, personal defense. Somebody breaking in your home, you are justified because you don't know their intention. You are justified to use deadly force if you deem so protecting yourself. This also goes for when you're out in public. The mere fact that nobody lost their lives is something everybody should be applauding, because they had the right to take that guy's life. And they didn't. They spared his life. The reason I'm bringing all this up is J.D. Vance, you're right about that. J.D. Vance decided to crawl out of whatever sewer he been in and open his empty mouth, his big mouth with that empty head of his. And then he admitted, well, he only seen a snippet. J.D. Vance took pictures with Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny snuck up behind a screaming man who didn't touch nobody and choked the man to death and killed him. Under the law, they said that Jordan Neely broke the social contract and Daniel Penny had the right to use deadly force because this guy was supposedly shouting threats. Now, if you've never been to New York City, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what you saw on TV, but let's be honest. People in New York are rude, and it's not abnormal to see people talking to themselves on the subways in New York. It's not abnormal to see people out in public talking to themselves. That's normal. Jordan on that train, that wasn't the first time that happened. Daniel Penny snuck up behind the man, and he got away with taking somebody's life. Now, I have to say that he was justified because he was found not guilty. I can't slander the man and say he was guilty of something because he went through legal process. I don't think, no. Do I think it was a cowardly act? Yes, I do, but nevertheless, the very same justice system that said that was okay is the very same justice system calling for these people to be sentenced to. Some people want them to be locked up and thrown away the key. Well, wait a minute. He actually these Russians actually hit people. And what I asked the question in my community tab today. I think most people saw the gun and gave me a thumbs up and didn't read the caption. So that these guys were Russian. Here in America, we always talking about the Russians are our enemy. The Russians are communists. Dr. King, everybody who doesn't agree with anything here in America is a communist. These guys left their country to come here and start a racial incident. Why are there so many Americans backing a bunch of communists? That's what I want to know. We as foundational Black Americans are American citizens. This points to a larger problem that I'm just not going to go into, but everybody can read the tea leaves. You already know what it is. I just thought that I would do this live stream because I wanted to point that out. I noticed that. What happened to patriotism? A couple years ago, we was Russian bots and all this other craziness, communism. Nevertheless, I've seen videos and stories throughout the years where people have committed crimes and their loved ones said, well, you didn't have to kill him. I'll talk to you guys and girls. You are welcome to go to YouTube after this live stream and look it up. The video in Miami of the family saying they didn't care that that woman's house been broken into multiple times, that she had a concealed carry permit and put their loved one down. They didn't care that she had a carry permit. She didn't have to kill him. Something happened between him and her in that backyard and she took care of business. I want people to understand this. This is for American citizens or people who planning on visiting here. Keep your fucking hands and your spit to yourself. I don't know how things go where you come from. Here, most people have guns, but here, when people start hitting you here in America, they will stomp you down. And I don't care what ethnicity you are from. I'm telling you, when you go out slapping people here in America, I'm speaking as an American, You're asking to get you're asking what happened in Cincinnati, you're asking for that. You asking to get a mud hole stumped up in you. Keep your hands and your bodily fluids to yourself. Now, if you think that you should be justified in walking around and antagonizing people, that's your business. Because the narrative was put out there that he got beat up for using a racial slur. That's not what happened. He kept calling people racial slurs, and then he decided he was going to use hands. All right, what's going on? Is that Nehemiah Jackson? It's good to see you too. So shout out to my Guanajuato cup. One of the subscribers to the channel sent me this. But yeah, I just thought that I would talk about that. As I said, when I did the Cincinnati beatdown, I didn't have all the information. I had heard that these was foreigners. And I just thought, as the nutritious channel of GunTube, to talk about, as Americans, we already are divided on so much. All of us don't agree on everything. But one thing we should set our differences aside about is foreigners from a country that's supposed to be our enemy came here and started a racial incident and they went home. Now look at the mess that they left behind. That was an internet, that is considered to be an international incident, because when you go to a foreign country and you put your hands on somebody, you go and antagonize somebody and you attack somebody, you're on a foreign soil. That is an international incident. For me, you guys and girls know, when I travel to Mexico, knock on wood, I haven't had any issues, but I understand I'm in a foreign country. The rules that's here in America are different somewhere else. I have to adjust to what is the law in Mexico. I can't go over there with my American laws and rights and take that across the... Yeah, you're right about that. So I can't take what we are allowed to do here. I'll give you an example. Guns. If you guys remember, I think that was early this year or sometime around the summer last year, all the people coming from Turks and Caicos that was American citizens that got arrested because they had ammunition in their name. In some countries, coming across their border with a pocket knife is considered a crime. And they can hold you to whenever. Look, here in Alert Zone TV, we preach self-defense. Right is right and wrong is wrong. I don't care what color, what background, whatever you identify as. Right is right and wrong is wrong. You don't have the right to slap somebody because you disagree with them and then tell them how to react. I know that as of late, you know, with a lot of the political things that's been going on in the country, the N-word has become everybody's go-to word. You know, people defend the right to use that. Let me just go ahead and say this. For those of you who don't remember, the woman that was calling that kid all kinds of N's in Minnesota was actually Ukrainian. I didn't know that at first. She's actually from Ukraine. The whole world was watching that she was able to call that kid there and got that all that kind of money. It starts off as an insult, but then fists come behind it. He started off, my understanding, in Cincinnati. This guy or this group of people had been antagonizing a bunch of people. This didn't just spring up. They were warned, man, go about your business and leave us alone. And then he threw the slap. And I got the chance to see the unedited video of him spitting the guy, slapping the guy. And then watching the repercussions. I got to see the woman getting hit. I know she was the first one that got back on the plane and went back to Russia. But now, we as American citizens are in the midst of an international incident that has already caused more of a racial divide than we have here. The very same people who will tell you they're an American patriot and they're all about self-defense are the main ones calling for these American citizens to be locked up. They're foreigners. They came to a foreign country, started a skirmish, attacked American citizens, and was able to flee the country. Where's all that patriot talk? See, this is peeling back the onion on a more deeper problem. You guys and girls already know that. I don't talk about certain things here in the Alert Zone TV if they don't happen. Now just imagine in Ohio. My understanding, Ohio is pretty loose with their gun laws. Imagine if somebody had that thing on him and put him down. The very same people who tell you that they believe in the Second Amendment would be the ones saying, put me on the jury so I can convict him and send him up the fucking road. When I tell you guys and girls that I wholeheartedly support the Second Amendment, I mean that. I mean, people have the right to defend themselves. If you do not want to be sent to the cemetery, keep your fucking hands to yourself. Me, personally, I know. If I get into an argument with somebody, once I hit, once I hit that person, all bets are off. I'm supposed to assume that it's going to be a one-on-one fight. I would be a fool to go to a large gathering, antagonize a bunch of people around there, finally hit somebody, and then be angry that the whole crowd jumped on me when I've antagonized everybody. This is the time, this incident is going to point out for a lot of us who really believe in self-defense across the board, it's going to point out a lot of patriotism. All you have to do is critical thinking. Look at the story that was put out there. And you know when this story was put out to the mainstream media, they had already saw the original thing. They just didn't put the full version out. Unfortunately for them, everybody has a camera phone now. A lot of people have social media now. So the mainstream news don't get to control the narrative. And it went from, well, this was an unprovoked attack. Look, a message to anybody that's coming to visit America. I don't know what the rules and the laws are where you come from. When you come here, we don't fuck around here. American citizens don't fuck around. Somebody will bust your fucking head to the fat meat, or somebody will blow your fucking brains out here in America. You guys and girls might be allowed to do that shit wherever you live. Don't bring that here. I'm just waiting for all these patriots to come out and say, you know what? If communism is supposed to be a bad thing and these people are supposed to be so communist, these was American citizens on American soil that they attacked. Even if I don't politically agree with them, we still supposed to be Americans. Look here. I was raised like this. I'd rather be judged by 12 than to be carried by 6. I've alluded to multiple times on this channel. I know that my Second Amendment rights has an asterisk next to it. Nevertheless, I still keep it on me. And what's going to happen is going to happen. If I got to go to the joint, at least I'm alive. I refuse to give my life up for minding my own fucking business. I want everybody to think about this. How many people that was involved in that fight went to that festival looking for trouble? I can tell you a couple of them I know went for looking for trouble because they was the instigators. I can tell you they went looking for trouble. Most people that go out in public to a festival or something, They're going out there to have fun. Let me explain something to y'all for people who don't understand this. If you give a party with 1,000 people, one person gonna show up to look for trouble. Some of y'all know, even when it comes to your own family, there are certain people you can't invite because all they do is keep fucking shit going. Their sole purpose is to show up looking for an argument and possibly a fight. Well, guess what? That's the way the world is. You go anywhere on this planet, there's always one person that's looking for an opportunity. All right, we got White Rambo in the building. Shout out to you too, bro. Can't wait to see you again. We definitely gonna get together and do some stuff. Nevertheless, I just want everybody to think about that. Oh man, I can't call it, man. Just talking about justified force, man. At the end of the day, we all have a right to go home. As men, we have a duty to make sure that we get home to our family. We have a duty to make sure our family gets home safe. That's why we all willing to lay it out on the line out here. This particular incident just made me think about people that commit burglaries. I seen a story in St. Louis where some 18-year-old went to carjack somebody and law enforcement blew his fucking brains out. Well, guess what? He put himself in the position to be fucking shot. When people are robbing stores, when people got guns up to you, when somebody is breaking into your home, you are justified in putting the threat down. You're supposed to do that. I don't advocate violence, and I'm not advocating now. What I'm telling you is, if you let them leave in one piece, when they come back, they'll come back shooting. Especially if you didn't see their face and they saw yours. If it's your home, they know you live there. It's very rare, very seldom, home burglaries, home invasions are done by people that just pick this house out of nowhere. All right, we got Destro in the building. Shout out to you. Criminals, is for those of you guys and girls who don't know how it goes, criminals don't usually pick random houses. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen. I'm telling you, most criminals, especially people who make their living pulling home invasions, burglaries, robberies, and all that stuff, very seldomly do they break in homes that they haven't been watching. Yeah, so more than likely, if somebody's entering your home and they leave alive, you don't see their face, they know where you live, they're gonna come back shooting. They may not even catch you at your home, they may catch you out in public. I'm always gonna say this. You as a law-abiding citizen are justified in using whatever force is needed to eliminate a threat, up into deadly force. And the law is supposed to back you up if it's implemented okay. If Ohio law was implemented the way it's supposed to be, the Russians supposed to be locked up in jail right now for being the ones who started this whole melee. And they was allowed to flee the fucking country. Because the mainstream media turned it into a racial thing. This didn't have nothing to do with this guy being white. Hell, really and truly, it didn't have nothing to do with him calling these people all kinds of slurs. The crime was committed when he slapped that guy. Up until he threw that slap, nobody hit him. They were chirping back and forth, but nobody hit him. Up until he threw that punch. He slapped that man in his face because he thought he was going to bitch him out, and he got more than what he bargained for. As we say here in America, don't start no shit and there won't be no shit. You hit me, I'm going to hit you back. I'm going to knock you on your fucking ass, just in case you got backup. You cannot go out antagonizing people physically. Here as Americans, Most Americans are tough skinned. We used to being cussed out and having arguments and then being called certain things. It's when you decide you're gonna escalate it and use physical force. What's unfortunate is all the people who say that they're for self-defense love to pick and choose. No, it's got to be across the board. They were so quick to jump up and condemn these people for defending themselves from a foreign threat. These were foreigners that did this. Aren't we supposed to protect America from foreign threats? So what? Does that go out the window now? Furthermore, ask yourself this question. What about America gave them the idea that they can come all the way from fucking Russia here to America and do something like that? What made them comfortable to do something like that? The world watches with the internet. Yeah, trash is trash no matter where it comes from. But they came all the way from a foreign country to come here to target a particular group of people. Russia don't have a black population like that. I know it's less black folk in Russia than it is here. And yet they went and made a racial international incident and fled the country. And now the country is divided and throwing insults. You had one guy afterwards talking about how he wanted to clean Cincinnati of black folk because of this. Because of something some foreigners came in and did. Look at the mess that has been made. I want to know when all these real Americans going to step forward and say, hey, wait a minute. These were foreigners that came on American soil and did this. Because I can guarantee you, I don't care what color you are. You take your fucking ass to Russia and slap somebody, you might not ever get out of prison. Especially being an American. You're not going to get... Remember, Brittany Griner brought some weed or whatever the hell she brought there. I mean, they had to swap a fucking a convicted terrorist to get her to go. And all she did was have some weed or some THC or whatever. So could you imagine if you went as an American citizen to Russia and antagonized a bunch of people and then slapped somebody in the face? Could you imagine? You might don't ever leave a Russian prison. They send you to fucking Siberia and you probably fucking die out there. So I say again, what is justifiable force? How much force is too much force? When somebody goes upside your head, if they hit you once and you hit them back once, is that justifiable to you? Does that satisfy you as the victim? Because if you didn't throw the first punch and you got hit, you're the victim under the law. So does you hitting them back, getting your lick back like we in elementary school, does that justify everything? Because remember in elementary school, they taught you in preschool, nursery. Keep your hands to yourself. Yeah. And that's what I'm pointing out. That's what I'm pointing out. Now that the full video has came out and we know who threw the first punch, the sentiment is, well, still, you didn't have to beat him that bad. But he didn't have to throw the first punch, number one. Number two, this was an international incident. These people were from a foreign country that came here and did this. What does that say to American citizens? We got enough problems here in America. We definitely don't need to be importing no problems. We got enough going on right now. Look here. Before I get out of here, everybody, I'm going to say this. Turning the other cheek is gone. We put all that on the luxury liner. We sent it out to the Pacific Ocean, shot a hole in the hull, and we sunk that ship. That turning the other cheek, that forgive, and all, that shit is gone. American citizens have enough. All of us. Trying to live from one day to the next. People are tired. People are frustrated. Homes people are being charged 4 times the price of a home. Them shabby homes that they building here in America, charging you $300,000 and $400,000 for. That as soon as the wind blow, they falling apart, and then the insurance company don't want to pay you for it. Food quality on top of the prices, on top of everything else. And when people go out to have a good time, to try and get away, yeah, I remember the Alabama brawl. I remember that. When people go out and try and have a good time and try to say, I'm going to make the best of my life, you got an asshole, or in this case, a couple of them, that showed up. They got more than what they was looking for, and now everybody's crying foul. We as American citizens have the right to protect ourselves. This message needs to be sent to people from other countries. When you come here in America, you follow the rules here. Understand, I don't know where you're coming from. We carry guns here. We're allowed to beat the brakes off of you here. Keep your hands to yourself. As American citizens, we understand when we go to foreign countries, we're at the mercy of that country. Some of y'all have been to foreign countries. The police have stopped y'all at checkpoints for whatever reason and told you got to give me money, or I ain't gonna let you go no further. I'll take you to jail. Well, guess what? That's the nature of doing business in these countries. You may not like it. Heard a story of a guy went to Mexico, used to go in there for vacationing, had his damn gun in his car and forgot. Crossed the border and he spent 2 years in Mexican prison for bringing a gun in. Because he was just so used to having a gun in his car. They put him in prison for 2 years over there. Right at the border, and there was nothing he could do about it. Because he crossed into their space. Here in America, we are allowed to, and we will eliminate the threat here. That not only goes to people from other countries, but that goes to Americans. You want to break in somebody's house? You asking for your life to be taken. All of y'all running around here stealing and jacking cars. I know y'all coming in teams now. People tired. More and more people buying guns, thanks to GunTube. I hope we can continue that trend. I can hope we can continue arming people. People are getting tired. They're not dialing 911 no more. Not to come and stop the crime. They're calling 911 to come and pick the body up. You right about that. You act like a fool, you're going to be treated like one here. They will blow your fucking head off here. We as law-abiding citizens, we're just tired of all this foolishness. You are justified in using whatever force is needed to eliminate the threat, up into taking somebody's life if you have to preserve yours. And you don't ever feel guilty about protecting yourself when you didn't do anything wrong. All right, everybody, I'm going to let y'all get out of here. Once again, if you have any products that you love to have reviewed on the channel, if you want to advertise on the channel, hit me, go to my community tab. You can find my email there and you can email me there. Thanks to everybody for catching this live stream if you was able to catch it live. Be cool on your stool wherever you are. We don't ever advocate violence here. All we do is tell you to protect yourselves here in Alerts on TV. That's all we want. It's a worldwide movement. Around the world, we want people to protect themselves because we, as citizens of the world, when we travel, we would love to know that we're not going to somewhere where we can possibly be losing our lives. With that being said, everybody, all right, thank you, Destro. Thank you, Nehemiah. Thank you, everybody else that was able to come through and catch us live. I hope y'all be safe. I'm gonna let y'all get out of here. I'm gonna get out of here and retire for the night. Thank you, everybody. Until next time, stay safe, stay armed, stay on high alert, and we out.